Okay, so before I start this video, you guys see this right here. Like, this is all I've been seeing, right? Ever since I uploaded the first video, these comments right here, right? Just, I'm just like, yo, what's going on? It's not like I was worried or anything, but I'm like, what is going on? Like, what's about to happen? And then eventually, someone told me what it was, right? And basically, yeah, because I'm getting into the lore of Fate, right? But I just had to show that real quick because yeah, that's all I was seeing. I'm like, yo, what is going on, right? Um, but yeah, besides all that, right, bro, yo were really messing with me too, right? But yeah, oh yeah, last time, right? Because yeah, now it's part two. Yeah, I do remember, yeah, the Greek gods and all that. I think it was Poseidon, right? Oh yeah, Orion, right? I used to call him Orion. Yeah, it's Orion now, right? Okay. Um, and yeah, now we're going to be getting onto the what was the story of Atlantis here now. Um, and then oh yeah, Odysseus. Yeah, I know now what he looks like. Then yeah, you got Drake's story. What was it Artemis as well, right? Um, so yeah, now I know that there's what was it, two Artemises or three? Yeah, I really remember. I know it's like two different versions, right, of Artemis, right? You know, the one that's yeah, what was it, up in space, up in the air, right? The one that they had to shoot down, right? And then the one that was Orion's lover, right? Or the one that Orion liked, I think. Um, and then yeah, you had all the other stuff, right? Yeah, the two servants in one. Yeah, I can't really explain it like, completely, right. Cuz yeah, I don't want to mess it up, but yeah, I at least remember, right? Yeah, the oh yeah, and then yeah, the hole, right? The black hole, right? Up in the sea. Yeah, that's what we're going to be seeing now cuz yeah, from the AMVs I'll usually see all that. Um but yeah, pretty much yeah, I'm going to see oh yeah, who Nemo is, right, as well. And yeah, I was just looking through this. Um, but yeah, finally, yeah, after all the AMVs that I'm seeing, yeah, I get to see, who Nemo is, right? And then basically, yeah, just everyone else from, yeah, this, part of the story, right? So I'm gonna just start it up right here. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and do one more video of this. I didn't do it yesterday because I already was doing two Fate Zero episodes, and yeah, I already knew I was gonna have to edit that. And then I want to look at 20 minutes or whatever of this, and yeah, I didn't want to do all of that, right? Um, but yeah, I'm gonna look at this today, and then tomorrow, which should be Friday, when I upload the last part. That one's probably gonna be less than 20 minutes, maybe, because yeah, I think I'm gonna actually, yeah, look at another about 25, or actually not 20. Well, yeah, 25 minutes here, and then probably yeah, about almost finish it up. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, three parts, and then I'm done, right? But yeah, that's pretty much about it. So I hope you guys will enjoy this. Make sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, let's get this reaction started.
I just took what they gave me, did all the favors, they never repay me. It worked in my favor, cause nobody.
Brand new whip, got no keys. Tell them my clothes, no starch, please. Soon as you can go leave. Got M's in the bank like S and D. Cartier glasses, I won't even peek at you. Yellow Ferrari like Pikachu. I got him waiting and watching what he gon' do. Tryna pee what I do, tryna steal my move. 2500 for a new pair of tennis shoes, the same price.
Okay, so here we go. I think I should, yeah, probably go back a little bit here. Actually, let me see. Yeah, I think it was. Well, yeah, that's where I stopped at. Like, yeah, 29 minutes, 46 seconds. But yeah, I'm gonna just go back to about like yeah, right here.
Sail into Atlantis. The
Okay.
crew of the Nautilus
Yeah, so
is
yeah,
made
right
by
here. Yeah,
Nemo's
here we go.
various parallel processes. The Nemo series.
So
Most of them are adorable Shota.
yeah,
but some
Nemo
of them
A,
are also
B,
nerdy
C, D, I
females,
guess.
like the
Yeah,
professor.
C and D.
They take care of the Nautilus's functions, while Da Vinci still operates the shadow border from her computer room. We're all pumped up for the new adventure, thinking that if we can take down this lost belt, the others should be easy. Dare I say we get cocky? As soon
Yeah,
as
I
we
can
arrive,
definitely tell
we
that.
find out that Olympus has been expecting us. Odysseus is standing by with his massive fleet, and Canis is ready to kick us into next week. Worst off, however, is what Odysseus uses to fight us. Demonic beasts born from Echidna, a snake-like creature that in Greek mythology produced monsters, most famously Cerberus, the three-headed guardian of the underworld.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was
Canis
three-headed.
and Cerberus
Okay, I only
occupy
remember
all of Chaldea's
seeing
servants.
two.
And despite the Nautilus being one of the world's most famous submarines, it's quickly incapacitated by a swarm of Lamia that explode like
Okay,
torpedoes.
so yeah, that was Odysseus.
Stuck with
Okay.
no hope of retreat, Odysseus commands Artemis to fire down upon the Nautilus, ready to end things right at the start. From just one look, it's obvious this blast will surely kill us, so Nemo takes the risk of initiating a zero sail mid-combat. Normally, this would be a death sentence, because zero sailing requires precise calculations in order to ensure the shadow border can verify its existence throughout the dive. But we don't have much of a choice here. At the exact
anti-planet
same
noble
moment, the Nautilus zero
phantasm.
sails,
Okay.
while also getting hit by Artemis's blast. This causes a contradiction, a paradox of sorts. On one hand, we were able to escape normal space, avoiding total destruction. On the other hand, while our premature dive to void space would have resulted in us vanishing altogether, the fact that we took on damage served as an anchor to keep our existence intact. So yeah, we survived the blast, but it utterly mangles the submarine we worked so hard to build. The blast also wound up separating Ritska from the rest of the crew,
Charlotte right
washing
there?
up on the beach of Hestia Island. We wake up to find Charlotte Corday tending to us. While it's nice to have a servant to rely on, she's not very reliable. Not only did she get lost trying to find her way back to a nearby village, she also doesn't stand a chance against the demonic beasts we run into.
Yeah, I can
Thankfully,
definitely
Orion
see that.
shows up and picks up the slack.
Yeah, Ryan.
He's not ready to help Chaldea fight the gods, but he is willing to escort Ritska to the village. The Atlanteans exiled from Olympus settle into villages made from the wreckage of fallen gods. When we reach the village on Hestia Island, we reunite with Mashu and the rest of Chaldea's crew.
Oh, her
We
name
also
Mashu.
encounter a
Okay.
servant people have been calling the transporter, Bartholomew Roberts. In legend, Bartholomew was a famous pirate known for leading the largest fleet.
Oh, I
While
remember.
pirates are
Yeah,
typically known for being
someone
lawless
told
and
me about him,
ruthless,
right? But
Bartholomew is
okay.
actually very disciplined, implementing a strict
So yeah,
pirate's
that's what he
code.
looks like.
His death effectively meant the end of the
Oh,
age of
and then
piracy.
yeah, dies
It was
right.
never his wish to become a pirate, but found himself taking up the role after being captured and discovering his great talent for the trade. His days as a pirate were bountiful, sailing the high seas on his most famed ship, the Royal Fortune, before losing in a confrontation with the HMS Swallow. Between the time of his summoning and Chaldea's arrival, Bartholomew's been occupying his time as a courier between the various islands. As such, he knows how to sail out of the watchful eye of Artemis above. Just like I have a fetish for abs and bare midriff, it seems he's absolutely obsessed with girls who wear their bangs over their eyes. This means he's
Okay.
very fond of Mashu, taking every chance
Yeah,
he can to
definitely
get the
can
other
see
girls
that,
to try
yeah.
and follow her lead. He's silly but valuable, filling us in on the current state of things in Atlantis. The damage to the Nautilus is reflected directly onto Nemo, so Bartholomew suggests we take Nero to the island's temple, where he can be treated with nanomachines. Since he doesn't have anything better to do, Gordolph is put in charge of carrying Nemo, but is attacked by demonic beasts en route. We can't make it in time, but thankfully there's another servant who can. The day is saved by a peculiar man named Mandricardo. In legend, he plays a minor role in the epic Orlando Furioso, rivaling Rodomonte of the 12 Paladins of Charlemagne. He was a king who put aside his duties in favor of a life of adventure. He came across the legendary armor of Hector, the hero from the Trojan War. This inspired him to go on a quest to obtain Hector's spear, Durindana, now in the form of the famous sword Durendal. Mandricardo even made an oath that, until he had Durendal in his hands, he would never wield any other sword. Turns out, this sword was gifted to Roland, one of Charlemagne's paladins. After using the sword as a symbol of bravery, Roland eventually found himself on the verge of death in battle. He tried to break the sword to keep it from being used by enemies, but this blade was famous for being indestructible. Fulfilling his oath, or trying to, Mandricardo came to battle Roland for the sword, but found it had already been abandoned. He picked up Durendal, claiming it for himself, but was challenged by one of Roland's allies, Zerbino. Trying to defend Roland's honor, Zerbino fought Mandricardo to reclaim the sword, but ultimately lost the duel. At first, Mandricardo was proud to have finally obtained Durendal, and he tried to use it in battle against the knight Roggerio, the lover of Charlemagne's paladin Bradamante. Despite having one of the world's most famous blades, however, he suffered a shocking defeat. It made him realize that he hadn't truly earned the blade, because he hadn't accomplished what other heroes did to deserve their fame. As such, he's self-conscious about the fact that he's a servant at all. He feels inferior, especially when compared to Hector, whom he greatly admires. Right off the bat, he embarrasses himself by not recognizing Ritska as Chaldea's master. He's socially awkward, but loyal to a fault, joining the party and doing whatever he can to be of use. He carries around a wooden sword, emblematic of his vow not to use a real blade until he obtains Durendal. It doesn't hinder him much, though, considering that whatever wooden sword he uses inherits the traits of Durendal, kinda like how Berserker Lancelot turns whatever he touches into his noble phantasm.
Yeah, okay. Wait, hold on, let me listen to that again. Cause yeah, I just saw Berserker, right? Lancelot as well, so...
Whatever he touches into his
Wait, hold up.
Inherits the traits of Durendal. Kinda like how Berserker Lancelot turns whatever he touches into his noble phantasm.
Oh, okay, so that's what he does, cause yeah, I really didn't know. I mean, I could kind of tell, but yeah, I didn't know it turns into his noble phantasm, right? So yeah, anything he touches, right? So like, you know, just how I just watched it, right? What you did? Yeah, I'm like real close to finishing Phase 0, actually. I only got 2 more episodes left, but let's see, I'm on Season 2, Episode 10. I think he touched Saber's blade. I was like, yeah, I don't know about that, because, yeah, I know he can do something, right? Whenever he touches something, and it'll either turn into something or he can control it, right? But, yeah, that helps out more, right?
On to reach the temple, and Mandricardo tricks the computer system
understand,
into thinking Nemo
right?
is an Olympian. He does consist of Triton, Poseidon's son, after all. The system spits out its remaining Clearonomia, which helps Nemo recover. To get back to full strength, or even strong enough to face Odysseus' fleet, however, Nemo will need more Clearonomia gathered from the other islands. On our way out of the temple, we run into some of Odysseus' goons. Even though we have to defeat them, it sucks, because as soon as those soldiers fail to report back, Odysseus will know that Chaldea is still alive. As a courier, Bartholomew offers to use his royal fortune to tow the Nautilus between islands. Thus, we make our way to Heracles Island and visit the village Charlotte Corday is most acquainted with. She's been reluctantly working with Jason, who wastes his days away at Drake's bar. Jason is all but given up the fight, and since Drake is cursed by Poseidon, she can't even leave the island.
Oh,
That
okay,
said,
yeah,
Drake
dang.
informs us that if we go to the Northern Temple and snag some more
Yep,
Clearonomia,
can't even do
it
anything.
might just convince Jason to join us. Following this lead, we fight our way through more of Odysseus' soldiers and snag enough Clearonomia for Nemo and another servant. When we return, Jason's pissed off because we obviously roused attention by breaking into the temple. Surely Olympus will retaliate. As he feared, our enemy now knows we're still alive on Heracles Island. For a moment, Canis jokingly remarks that she's so impressed by Chaldea's ability to survive that she might want to switch sides. Kirstaria asks her to be more careful what she wishes for, and authorizes Odysseus to fire Artemis's arrow at the island. Meanwhile, Orion is still hanging out in the forest, conversing with the lone Artemis terminal that's been observing him. From just the short time she spent with Orion, she's learned compassion, transcending the machine-like attitude of her host body. Thus, when she learns of Artemis's next attack, she tells Orion, and he goes to Heracles Island's village to warn everyone. He pleads to the Atlanteans to evacuate while they still can, but it turns out they actually want to be blasted by Artemis's arrow. It would be the first time in well over 1,000 years that the gods so much as acknowledge them. As exiles, they want nothing more than redemption, and take Artemis's divine punishment as a form of salvation. Seeing this sad state of affairs finally pushes Orion to join our party. Sadly, Frances Drake can't join us due to her curse, so she has no choice but to die in the blast. Still, she does what she can, handing Ritska the core she stole from Poseidon. She then entrusts her ship, the Golden Hind, to Jason, saying that if he uses the excess Clearonomia, he can transform the ship into a new Argo. Reluctantly, Jason accepts, and we escape the island on both the Argo and Royal Fortune. The Artemis terminal parts with Orion, staying behind because if she followed along, Artemis proper would be able to track them. She tries to relay to her machine body an order not to fire, but it's obviously ignored. Artemis fires down another beam that annihilates the island. Hilariously, one of the villagers,
Oh, I was
Timmy,
gonna say,
has a crush
what's
on
he
Charlotte
laughing for?
Corday, and at the very
Okay.
last second decides he probably should have tried to escape for her sake.
Oh, so yeah,
Oof.
literally, yeah, he just
With
messed up
Heracles'
his
island
chance.
gone, we realize that we need to find a way to defeat Artemis.
Well, yeah, that was
We can't exactly fly into
yeah
space,
unfortunate
so
for
instead we imagine shooting her
Drake,
down with
right?
arrows.
Yeah.
The only one who
Couldn't
fits the
do
bill
anything.
is Orion, and he accepts our plan. To have any hope of winning, though, we'll need to power him up with more Clearonomia. To obtain it, we set sail to xxii Island. Jason demands on commanding the operation, treating everyone else as his new Argonauts. He instructs Bartholomew to make contact with the villagers while we zip over to the next temple. Instead of coming along himself, Nemo has enough energy to use some of his
Nemo
series
Professor.
again.
Okay, how
Nemo
many are
Professor
there?
tags along as we enter the
Yeah.
temple. Apparently, Medea visited this island before heading to Olympus, as Jason notes that a magical barrier has been placed around the temple to keep everyone out, except for himself or Chaldea. He knows this because Medea left behind a letter for him. In private, Jason opens the letter and reads it as a hologram. Medea, even after Jason abandoned his duty as a servant, still loves him and believes he will once again join the fight. As such, she's left for Jason a special mystic code that basically duplicates his appearance. He writes it off as a piece of junk, but later realizes he can wear it to put on a brave face in the event that his actual body gets damaged. Medea also gives the party some valuable information, that we can find an assassin servant who will join us at Deimos Island. At the temple on Deimos Island, Mandricardo tries to score us some more Clearonomia, but it winds up triggering the defense system. After we destroy the enemies that come out, we notice a corridor that the enemies came out of. We follow the path and reach a cavern. There, a hand bursts up from the ground and scares the crap out of Ritsuka. We soon discover that this is Mochizuki Chiyome, the
Oh,
Kunoichi
okay.
who was
Oh,
our
wait,
enemy.
what was her name again? I just say Chiyome.
Back in
Okay.
Shimosa.
So I finally get
Here,
to
she
see
reveals
her,
she's one of the
right?
counterforce servants that stayed behind to help Chaldea.
'Cause-
With the aid of
yeah, I'm
some
about to
Clearonomia,
remember these
she's been
names, right? And how
hibernating
you
until
pronounce
now.
them.
She explains this temple actually belongs to Hephaestus, the god of the forge, one of the machine gods who fought against Zeus in an attempt to coexist with humans. Thankfully, Hephaestus still wants to help humanity and sides with Chaldea, but there's a catch. Only half of Hephaestus's head unit is intact. The other has been stolen by a servant siding with Olympus. As a result, a lot of his data is missing. Even so, he's able to answer many of our questions. The most important is to figure out how to kill Artemis.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. The Great War on Olympus that began. Okay, now you're gonna tell us how many years ago.
Important is to figure out how to kill Artemis.
And they were destroyed.
Turns
okay.
out no amount of Clearonomia will be enough to defeat her.
Okay.
Instead, what they need is the power of a divine construct. I'm not going to waste any time explaining what that is here, since there's a nifty lesson in magecraft on the topic you can watch instead. Check for a link in the description.
Oh
leave a
yeah, and
comment,
like I
and
said
follow
before, I
along.
am reading what they're
None
saying.
of
It's
our
just you have to
current
pause
servants
that
have
and look
divine
again,
constructs,
right?
But Hephaestus mentions that we may be able to find Achilles, whose shield and armor both count. If we can convince Achilles to give up the armor and shield, Hephaestus can forge them into a weapon for us. We're given coordinates on where to find Achilles, as well as coordinates for another temple where we should bring the goods when it's time to start forging. Achilles is perhaps the most iconic figure in the Trojan War, an immortal hero with a single weak spot. He was born between the goddess Thetis and the mortal hero Peleus. To make Achilles truly immortal, Thetis bathed him in holy flames, but honored Peleus' request to leave some humanity behind by keeping his heel out of the fire. As such, his body is invincible everywhere except that one spot. Despite this, it was still prophesied that if Achilles wanted to become a hero, he would inevitably die young. Bravely, he accepted this fate, and went on to be one of the strongest fighters in Greek history. As Hephaestus said, his armor and shield, Achilleus Cosmos, were divine constructs forged by the Hephaestus of proper
Yeah,
human
that
history.
armor looking kind of nice
While
there.
otherwise a valiant hero, Achilles met his end through dishonor.
Oh,
Upon slaying his
dishonor,
opponent
okay.
Hector on the battlefield, Achilles brutalized the corpse by dragging it behind on his chariot. This drew the ire of Hector's brother Paris, who, with the help of the god Apollo, shot an arrow directly into Achilles' heel, striking him dead on the spot. Fittingly, the servant Achilles we're looking for is hanging out on Thetis Island. We set sail, but soon detect a hostile presence heading straight for us. It's Canis, and she's decided to ignore her master's order to stand by. Rather than leave this to Odysseus, who's failed to kill us twice now, she's here to finish the job herself. At first, we're no match for her, especially considering the ocean is Poseidon's domain. It's that exact logic, however, that gives us an edge. We've still got the Poseidon core that Drake gave us, and by using it, we're able to bypass her invincibility. In fact, it turns her affiliation with Poseidon into a weakness. For the first time, we nearly defeat Canis.
Oh, okay.
But our fight is interrupted when
Yeah,
Kirstaria
about to
decides
defeat her
to show up in
there.
person. He orders Castor and Pollux to take Canis away, staying behind to fight us all on his own. Sadly, we stand no chance against him. He conjures the spell Anima Animasphere, nearly burying us under a rain of meteors. When he comes to kill Ritska, he is interrupted when the cloaked man from before shows up to negotiate.
Oh,
Kirstaria
wait, do we
immediately
get to
recognizes
see him
this man
now?
as the one from Chaldea who's been helping us from the shadows.
Yeah, I remember
the man
that.
removes his hood, revealing his identity as Dr. Romani, aka
Okay.
Solomon from the first arc. Say what? Roman suggests that since the alien god once spared the Cryptors, giving them a second chance, perhaps Kirstaria can spare Ritska one time to even the playing field. Kirstaria would rather not get into more fights than intended, so he agrees in exchange for Roman's word that he'll leave the Lost Belt without further interference. As some last parting words, Kirstaria remarks that Roman's impression isn't very convincing. Roman teleports us to a beach, but refuses to comment further on his identity. Mashu and Ritska are both shocked and delighted to see Romani still alive, but this is no time for reunions. Instead, Roman tells them not to discuss this meeting with the rest of the Shadow Border crew, as one of them isn't trustworthy. He then vanishes without so much as a smile. Holy
Okay.
hell, there's a lot to unpack here. Romani still alive? How? Didn't he pretty much erase his own existence to stop Getia at the Temple of Time? Yes. Given what Kirstaria said about being an imitation, I feel it's pretty safe to say this is not, in fact, Roman at all, but rather Getia in disguise.
Okay. Oh,
It's
wait, actually, I
uncertain
think
how
I've
the
seen that
demon god
already.
Hive Mind survived his
Okay.
defeat at the Temple of Time, but it's not the first time he's masqueraded as Solomon. Plus, if you go back and watch the official Cosmos and the Lost Belt trailer, Getia narrates the video as Solomon, claiming he foresaw the
Oh,
coming
yeah, I
of the
guess I'm about to
alien
look at
god,
that.
practically implying that his incineration of humanity was an attempt to prevent the alien god from coming. Even after his initial defeat, however, Getia hopes that Chaldea can persevere, despite bringing this upon themselves. I bring this up so y'all don't get your hopes up about Roman being alive. It's less of a spoiler, and more something the community figured out from these revelations alone. As to what he's going to do in the future, I have no clue. Another thing I have no clue about is this traitor that Getia mentions. Who in the
Actually, hold up. Before he talks about that, yeah, real quick. Yeah, I'm just looking at the time here. Yeah, I think I gotta do something real quick, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna end the video. I'm not gonna end it. Yeah, I'm gonna still continue it on for like 10 more minutes or so, right? But yeah, just do something real quick, and then yeah, I'll just make a cut, and then yeah, come back straight to this, right? But yeah, I'll be doing that, yeah, right now. Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it's just, I'm having to look at this, right? But then I have my own stuff to do as well, right? That's why I'm putting in 3 parts. But yeah, like I said, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, here we go. Continue on. Actually, yeah, let me go back here. Yeah, to
I have no clue. Another thing I have
refresh
no clue about
myself.
is this traitor that Getia mentions.
But yeah,
Who in the
okay.
Shadow Border crew can we not trust?
Okay.
Sure, Charlotte Corday is supposed to betray us, but she was present for our fight with Kirstaria. She's not part of the Shadow Border's crew. The traitor could be Sion, Da Vinci, Sherlock, Gordolf, or dare I say Mounier.
Okay. Yeah.
As far as just 6 months ago, the FGO community's been debating theories on who this traitor is. Since I don't know the answer, let's just move
Oh
right
wait, yeah.
along.
I'm guessing, yeah,
Feel free
they
to
know it by
speculate in
now,
the
right?
comments, though.
Actually, now I don't
Castor
even know when this
calls
video got
Canis to
uploaded, but
safety, but not to rescue her.
yeah, I'm guessing they already
In
know
fact,
that.
the Dioscuri twins despise Canis and her arrogant defiance of Kirstaria's will. Being in favor of the gods, they don't appreciate Canis's hatred for them. If she can't kindly accept Poseidon's blessing, then she's not worthy of the power she has. And now that Poseidon's blessing has been bypassed with the stolen core, she's nothing but an ungrateful woman. Of course, this enrages Canis to no end. She was violated by Poseidon, cursing her feminine body for being vulnerable to such a threat. To be reduced to that again is the ultimate burn. Yet,
Oh,
she
so
can't do
wait.
anything as Castor and Pollux
Oh,
court
they're
into
going
her as
against each
punishment.
other. Okay, I
As the
thought they
twins
were going
straight
to
up
be
kill her,
allied,
Canis
right?
laments how she couldn't even the score with Astraea
'Cause-
for putting a figurative
Yeah,
collar
isn't
around
that
her neck.
wait? Hold on, let me pause it. Isn't that Kirstaria's? If I'm saying his name right, isn't that his servants, right? Or servant, because he has two in one. But yeah, I thought they were coming down to, I guess, save her or whatever, right? Since she was almost about to be defeated, right, or actually die. But I'm like, okay, yeah, they're actually going against each other, right? So, yeah, I don't know what's up with
ultimately
that,
happens
but
to her remains a mystery.
Okay.
As the scene fades to black.
unless I missed
After
something,
that
right?
devastating event, we resume our journey toward Thetis Island, but first
Okay,
wind
yeah,
up
there
being
goes someone
forced to
else,
land on an
no?
island belonging to the goddess Astraea. She's a
Oh,
goddess
another-
from proper human history who is known for justice, innocence, and purity.
Okay,
She
so
remained
another
on Earth
god.
from the Iron Age until after all the rest of the gods
Yeah, that
vanished,
hair
in
is
order to
something
bring
else
justice
too.
to the people
Okay,
during corrupt times.
yo,
After parting from humanity, her scales became the constellation of Libra. As you'd expect from these iconic scales, she demands impartiality, never letting the scales tilt too far to one side or the other. In order to exist as a heroic spirit, Astraea inhabits the human body of Luvia Gilletta Edelfelt, a wealthy mage at the Clock Tower, and also the rival of Rin Tosaka. This pseudo-servant, despite being from proper human history, has struck a deal with the Olympian gods not to substantially help either side. She was offered the chance to become a proper god of this lost belt, but refused in order to remain neutral.
wait, even got her own
Nevertheless,
statue.
she wishes to test Chaldea's resolve, offering to give out information in exchange
Actually,
for
multiple
completing various
statues.
trials.
Okay.
Ritska's servants split into pairs, each fighting different demonic beasts for the chance to ask Astraea questions. At the end of these trials, she reveals that, in addition to Achilles, there's also an archer-class servant they can recruit. She explains that Zeus's unique brand of Cleronomia can be rivaled by the Athena Cleronomia, which is found in Atlantis. Most concerning, however, is the fact that the alien gods' apostles, Rasputin and Muramasa, are active in Olympus.
Oh,
This is the
what
first
is
time
it?
Chaldea's
Shinji?
heard
Okay.
of Muramasa being on the alien gods' team. Back in Shimosa, he was an incredible ally, so why would he oppose humanity like this? According to what he says, he's just loyal to whoever summons him. He'll serve anybody, so long as he has the chance to continue smithing. In fact, through his boredom, he carved all of the lovely Astraea figures on her island. While this is certainly enlightening, Astraea finally lets us resume our trek to Thetis Island. Once there, we find Achilles in a fight with the heroic spirit Paris. the
Okay,
man
so
who
there we
killed
go
him
with
during the Trojan War.
Paris.
Historically, Paris was the man who more or less started the Trojan War by abducting Helen of Sparta from King Menelaus.
Okay.
This act was prophesied at his birth, and to avoid war, Paris's parents abandoned him on a mountain.
Dang.
Despite being left for dead, the baby survived on bear's milk until being raised by the shepherd Aegelus, who was initially ordered to abandon him. He grew up as a beautiful boy, but his life turned
Yeah,
chaotic
definitely
when
can
the
see
goddess
that, yeah.
Aphrodite promised him the most
I actually
beautiful woman in
mistook him
Greece.
for a girl at first, right?
To claim this blessing, Paris formed a team that stole Helen from her husband, sparking the Great War. From his perspective, he was rescuing Helen from an unhappy marriage, so he saw it as a travesty when his older brother Hector was killed in battle with Achilles. As a servant, Paris appears alongside the god Apollo, who watches over him in the form of a sheep. Well, that's sure one way to limit your divinity. While Paris certainly
Oh, so
became an
okay,
adult
that's
in
what
life,
they
Apollo was
are.
most fond
Yeah,
of
all
his
of those
childhood
things around
innocence,
Paris.
hence his appearance as an androgynous
Just
Shota.
yeah, little sheep.
At first, Achilles doesn't recognize this child, and plays a game of kick the baby to get him out of the way from an attacking group of Odysseus' soldiers. After Paris reveals his true identity, however, Achilles suspects that because he's traveling with Apollo, he must be working for Olympus. Of course, this Apollo is the proper human history one, but Achilles starts fighting him without thinking it through. We arrive to break up the fight, and after everything is explained, both servants join our party. Sadly, Achilles isn't at his full strength. Before we even arrived, he fought against the Lost Belt version of Charon, and had his heel struck by Charon's noble phantasm, Antares Snipe. As such, he's no longer immortal, and not as fast as usual either. Even so, he's more than capable as a fighter. He doesn't have his shield with him, but he's willing to give up his armor so that we can make a weapon. Hephaestus's forge is apparently on Percy Island, so we zip on over there to start the process. Along the way, we can see that Charlotte Corday, despite being tasked with betraying Chaldea, has grown very fond of Ritska. Mandricardo, too, has formed a very close friendship with his master. At the village on Percy Island, one of the elders gives us a map to Hephaestus' temple. It can be found on the other side of the legendary labyrinth that Daedalus built to contain the Minotaur. We've encountered a similar situation back in Okeanos, as well as in the first Lost Belt. Thankfully, this iteration doesn't have Asterios in it, allowing us to navigate to the end to find another Hephaestus facility. Before Hephaestus forges a bow for Orion, he wants to test his resolve to kill Artemis. It puts him through a simulation battle against a projection of Artemis from proper human history, allowing him to see how ridiculous he was as a cute little bear. Again, Orion takes pity on the mechanical Artemis for not understanding human emotions. He vows to show her those emotions, to shoot her down, to free her. Satisfied by his resolve, Hephaestus starts forging a bow from Achilles' armor, but it's going to take some time to complete. This gives us the chance to strategize. It seems we can't just shoot at Artemis from anywhere. The only suitable vantage point happens to be on Nemesis Island, the island closest to the Big Hole, and directly underneath Artemis. Sadly, Poseidon's oceanic currents only provide us a single route to Nemesis, and Odysseus will likely use that information to head us off. On the contrary, Odysseus actually intends to wipe us out here. The Echidna
Okay, so
has given
they're
birth
back.
to yet another Cerberus, and it is sent to our location for another harrowing encounter. The Cerberus tries to destroy Hephaestus, but Ritzka's servants are able to keep it back. Even when we damage the creature, though, it simply regenerates thanks to its Demeter Cleronomia. Odysseus then takes the next step, ordering this Cleronomia to overload and self-destruct. There's nothing we can do to stop it from blowing up the entire facility before our divine construct can be finished. Not wanting things to end like this, Charlotte Corday activates the Zeus Cleronomia she was given when Odysseus summoned her. It makes her powerful enough to slay Cerberus with her noble phantasm, but it also takes control of her body, forcing her to attack us. The Cleronomia eats away at her spirit core, and if this keeps up, her spirit core will collapse. While she's not necessarily the most important asset in our team, Ritzka's not about to let a servant in need die like that. With Hephaestus, we develop a plan to save her. Basically, we can take the Hephaestus Cleronomia we needed to restore Nemo, and instead use it to suppress the Zeus Cleronomia inside Charlotte. This should put her to sleep long enough for us to fetch some Athena Cleronomia from the next island. Then, on the shadow border, we can infuse her with the Athena Cleronomia while extracting the Hephaestus Cleronomia for Nemo. The Athena nanomachines should be able to stabilize Charlotte's condition. It's a strategy that puts us in more danger, but Ritzka chooses it anyway because she deserves to live. Thankfully, the island we need to go to is Eris Island, which is on the way to Nemesis. Hephaestus finishes Orion's bow, calling it Aegis Eclipse. Without Achilles' shield as material, though, only 2 arrows could be made, which happens to be the bare minimum needed to first destroy Artemis's defenses and then her main body. Missing is not an option. As all of this is happening, Artemis is preparing another blast from her orbital laser.
Okay, so yeah, there goes
In
the
order to
bow.
escape, we leave in some pods Hephaestus prepares for us. We are able to leave the island safely, but Hephaestus, at least the half that's been helping us this whole time, is completely demolished when the beam strikes down. Luckily for us, it's not that hard to reach Eris Island and retrieve the Athena Cleronomia. Instead, danger emerges on our way out of the temple. Lost Belt Charon's here trying to snipe Ritzka, and to cover our escape, Mandricardo steps up. He invokes his noble phantasm, Sermon de Durandal, to hold Charon's posse off. This works, but as he tries to follow us, he finds that Mochizuki Chiyome's been captured by Charon. Mandricardo considers trying to rescue her, but she pleads for him to leave her behind. Apparently she has a plan, staying behind to let everyone else escape. Charon's okay with this, reasoning he can feed Chiyome to the Echidna to hasten the production of yet another Cerberus. Thus, in the process of trying to save one servant, we lose another. We're not about to let that sacrifice be in vain, however. Back at the shadow border, Da Vinci and the Nemos operate on Charlotte, administering the Athena Cleronomia while removing the Hephaestus Cleronomia. As the different nanomachines ravage her body, she cries out in pain, thrashing about, forcing the other servants to hold her down. Ritzka can do
just
nothing but
snapped a
pray that
bone,
Charlotte has the will
okay.
to live, even though she's begging to die. In the end, the operation succeeds, and the Athena Cleronomia neutralizes the infectious Zeus Cleronomia. Charlotte's been severely weakened, but ultimately she's grateful to be alive now that the pain has subsided. The salvaged Hephaestus Kleronomia gets used on Nemo, strengthening him enough to not just rebuild the damaged Nautilus, but to turn it into a brand new vessel designed to help the Shadow Border stand up against Odysseus' fleet. The result is the Storm Border, a futuristic-looking submarine that vastly expands our capabilities. With it, we can finally charge through to Nemesis Island and vanquish Artemis. As expected, though, Odysseus is waiting for us. Jason takes command of our offensive. We have the Argo, Royal Fortune, and Storm Border as assets. The Storm Border is the greatest among them, so it's in charge of the main assault against Odysseus. Mandricardo and Mashu will be traveling on the Argo, boarding enemy ships to take them out one by one. Chiron is a major threat, so Achilles is tasked with keeping him occupied. To provide cover, Paris is given Achilles' chariot so he can fly over the battlefield and fire arrows down from above. None of this matters if Orion can't reach the island in time, so he journeys separately with Bartholomew on the Fortune. Fighting so directly doesn't fit Charlotte's combat style, so she's sent to go on her own and assassinate others when they least expect it. Nemo and his crew are able to redeem themselves for their previous loss, devising countermeasures against the Lamia that originally immobilized them. Working around this keeps Odysseus occupied, unable to supervise the Echidna. As Chiron said, his forces fed Chiome to the creature, giving it enough mana to birth another Cerberus that goes to attack Orion.
Okay,
To
so
protect
you
the
made
Royal
another
Fortune,
one.
Orion knocks the Cerberus into the ocean and uses his authority as Poseidon's son to walk on the water. What he doesn't expect, though, is that there are two Cerberi. The second bursts from the water and bites him. It's not enough to stop him, though. The Storm Border uses torpedoes to clear a path, and Orion runs to the island on foot across the water. Odysseus finally turns his attention back to the Echidna, only to find it producing monsters much too quickly. It's actually going berserk. Turns out, Chiome being fed to the Echidna was all part of one of Jason's ridiculous plans. Like a Trojan horse, Chiome was fed to the Echidna to corrupt it from within. If you recall from Shimosa, Mochizuki Chiome is a descendant of Koga Saburo, a man who once trespassed on Mount Ibuki, incurring the wrath of Yamata no Orochi. The giant snake monster cursed Saburo, and while this curse torments him so, it can be harnessed to bestow Orochi's poison on enemies.
Okay, so wait, she was the one
Chiome's
who
inherited this curse,
sacrificed
something she's
herself,
not proud of,
right?
but it winds up being mighty useful here. Within the Echidna, she unleashes her curse, poisoning it from the inside. Now, the Echidna is rapidly producing demonic beasts without discretion, and these beasts wind up attacking even Odysseus' fleet. Fed up with this madness, Odysseus takes the one Cerberus that will listen to his orders and attacks Ritska directly. Paris comes to our aid but incurs a terrible injury from the Cerberus, weakening him to the point where he can barely fight. Nonetheless, Mandricardo, Bartholomew, Mashu, and Paris collectively manage to force Odysseus and his Cerberus into a stalemate. To overcome this, Odysseus once again commands the Cerberus' nanomachines to overload. If the Cerberus explodes, we'll all die, and he'll have accomplished his mission. We're saved, however, when Charlotte Corday shows up, having forgone this entire battle thus far to make a surprise attack. Odysseus deflects her attempt and strikes her down. Certain that he's killed Charlotte, he lets his guard down in front of her, falling prey to her noble phantasm, Le Rêve à Soleil. Just like in her
I know
legend,
that did
she
some
does not
damage right
assassinate
there.
through stealth, but directly up front, right under her victim's nose. Effectively, Odysseus had killed Charlotte, but the Athena Kleronomia in her body gave her the battle continuation skill. It lets her stay in the fight, even in the face of death, until her goal is achieved. In this case, finally being useful to Ritska by defeating Odysseus. As Charlotte disappears, she remarks that she's happy being able to leave a mark on
Okay, so
Ritska,
yeah, that's a
figurative scar that
same
her master
image
will
I saw
always
when I
remember.
first saw her, right?
Rather than being a renowned
There's something
figure,
similar to
she
that.
wants to be remembered as her flawed human self. And if Ritska can remember her like that, then she's found her true happiness. Despite losing their leader, the remaining soldiers try to take us out by detonating their ship. In order to let the Royal Fortune escape, Jason charges in with the Argo and endures the blast. Somehow he survives, shocking both himself and everyone else. With no time to think about it, Bartholomew sails straight on to Nemesis Island. Upon arrival, though, Bartholomew himself begins to vanish, reasoning that his purpose for being summoned was to deliver Chaldea safely to this destination.
Oh, and then
With
that
his
was
job
it.
complete, he fades away. Well, that sucks. There's plenty more he could still do to help, but
Yeah,
whatever.
you know,
This
some
entire
last
time,
minute, you know,
Achilles has
save
been
or something
facing
like
off
that,
against
right?
Charon, being careful
Helping
to
out,
drag
at least
things out as long as
sacrifice or
possible
something.
without dying. Their battle spans from the sea onto the island shore, giving Orion the clearance he needs to focus on Artemis. Activating the Aegis Eclipse, he fires his noble phantasm, Orion Horkos, into the sky.
Okay, so yeah,
This
that's the
arrow
first
does
arrow.
exactly what it needed to,
Yep, it
piercing
hits.
Artemis's armor. As such, he quickly fires
And
off
then
the
you have
second
to do
arrow
the
at
other
same
one, but
time
yeah,
Artemis
the
launches a
beam.
beam of her own.
Yep, okay.
Their shots collide, but Orion's arrow pushes through and heads straight for its target.
Oh, so okay, it
Unexpected,
still
however,
went.
Artemis is able to fire a second blast.
Yeah, there was a
before the
second.
arrow can
Okay, yeah,
reach her.
second beam.
This blast neutralizes Orion's second and final divine arrow.
Oh, and that was
Firing
the
these
last one.
arrows
Okay,
also puts immense strain on Orion's body, nearly pushing him to vanish.
I thought there was
In
one more
contrast,
arrow he could
Artemis
shoot,
is already
right?
prepping a third shot, one that will
Yeah.
surely wipe us all out. Meanwhile, Achilles continues fighting Charon. He's not going to be able to win, but he can still be of use in other ways. On the verge of death as it is, he uses his remaining life as a catalyst for Ritska to perform another summoning. Specifically, he reaches out to Hector, who emerges and responds to Ritska's calling. By all means, Achilles is dead, literally giving up his
Yeah.
life for the summon, and yet he
See that
continues to
now.
fight because he too has the battle continuation skill. It's just enough to keep Charon from interfering with Hector's summoning. No wonder he gave up his armor to make a divine construct. He had an even thicker layer of plot armor all along.
Okay.
The benefit of having
Gotta
Hector
have
as
that
a
plot
servant
armor.
is that his noble phantasm, the spear Durindana, is indestructible, famed for piercing the Rho Ias down to its 6th layer. When Artemis fires her third beam, Hector sacrifices himself, tossing Durindana with so much force that it rips his own arm off. This leaves
Okay.
him almost no time to reunite with his little bro Paris. It was only for a moment, but Hector is glad to have been of service. Durindana lands on the ground, and Hector personally entrusts it
Oh
to
yeah, and
Mandrake
I'm gonna just
before
finish it off. We
vanishing.
only got like 7
Sadly,
minutes left,
this
so
doesn't do us much
yeah,
good
I'm gonna
if we
just
can't
finish
kill
it off
Artemis.
here.
But we're out of arrows. Being unable to help in any other way, Paris asks Apollo to turn him into a divine arrow for Orion's bow.
Oh yeah,
It
and then
might
that's
just work,
yep, there
but
it
it'll take some
goes.
time to complete, and the chief
Turning
of Artemis
Paris
is
into an,
already preparing a
arrow.
4th consecutive blast. No wonder Orion fell for her. To buy us the time we need, Mandricardo takes Durindana and transforms it into his own blade, Durendal. With Hector's blessing, he can truly fulfill his oath, unlocking his true noble phantasm, Rave de Durendal. This whole time, he's been concerned about his own incompetence, his lack of fame compared to the other heroes. In this moment, however, he tosses all of that aside, realizing that what he wants most is to save Ritska in the name of friendship. When Artemis fires off the 4th beam, Mandricardo sacrifices himself like the others, using the light of his blade to neutralize the blast. This allows Apollo to finish converting Paris into an arrow. This is Orion's last shot, and he knows he needs to make it stronger than he previously imagined.
Yeah, because that's
He
the
can only
last
move again
shot
with the
right
help of all
there.
3 of Ritska's command spells. If he wants this next shot to count, he'll need all the power he can get. Recall that the full power of a Grand Servant is conditional. It's given to a servant by the counterforce for the sole purpose of defeating beasts of
Oh, and then he
humanity.
turns into
It's not something
Super
you're supposed
Orion,
to use
right?
to
Or
help
something like
Chaldea,
that.
even though Chaldea is often also fighting the beasts. That's why our buddy King Hassan had to revoke his grand status to place death upon Tiamat. Even though slaying beasts was his job, he did so for Chaldea's sake, forcing him to cast aside his grand status in order to use his full might a single time. Orion too has his own target, and regrettably it's not Artemis. Thus, if he's going to give this shot his all, he too has to give up his grand status. All over a silly technicality, Orion pours all of his power into one shot, Ortigia Amore Mio, a special noble phantasm only made possible by these conditions. This arrow, charged with his love for the humanoid Artemis, launches into space, tearing through a 5th beam and utterly wrecking the machine goddess. Admitting defeat, Artemis comes to understand the emotions Orion wanted to teach her. She claims that she lost the moment she let jealousy take over her, and dies happy knowing Orion would still aim his love at her, even though she's not the same Artemis he truly loves. Needless to say, firing this arrow took everything Orion had,
Yep,
so he
and then
vanishes
there he
right
goes.
after, leaving only Ritsuka, Mashu, Jason, and the Stormboarder to take on the final obstacle standing between them
Oh,
and
there's
Olympus,
still something
the
else.
machine god Poseidon.
Oh, Poseidon,
That's quite the
okay.
task still left on our plate. We enter the Stormboarder and sail toward the big hole, only to learn that the fantasy tree growing out of the hole is just a projection of the one within Olympus. To get there, we have to plunge straight down into the hole, but Poseidon's not going to let us do that without a fight. The Stormboarder can battle with torpedoes, but they don't do any good so long as Poseidon's barrier remains intact. Thankfully, there's a gap in his defenses left from when Francis Drake stole one of his cores. In fact, Poseidon's so salty about this that his programming's gone haywire, thinking we're Francis Drake. For our final offensive, Nemo rams the Stormboarder into Poseidon's exposed ass, and ejects the Shadowboarder into the barrier. We convince Gordolf to take the wheel again, and drive us across Poseidon's body to the remaining 3 cores. Each core has its own defenses, but thankfully Ritsuka, Mashu, and Jason are able to overpower the first 2. At the third, however, we find that Chiron is still alive, protecting the final core. By some miracle, we claim victory over Chiron, destroying the core in the process. Oddly enough, despite our victory, Jason insists on staying behind, claiming he's truly given his all. Reluctantly, we return to the border, leaving Jason and Chiron together as Poseidon falls apart. With nothing left to lose, Jason removes the mystic code Medea made for him, revealing that he's actually been severely wounded all this time.
Oh,
For the success of the mission, however, he needed to remain stoic to inspire his new team of Argonauts. He may be a bit of a douchebag, but that doesn't rob him of this redeeming moment. The Shadowboarder docks within the Stormboarder, and after Poseidon's defeat, all that's left is to continue down the hole. At the end of the tunnel, we find the subterranean Olympus. While it cost us every servant to get this far, there's hope, because there are servants like Medea and Musashi waiting for us to meet them. At the same time, though, we currently have no way of defeating Kirstaria, nor do we know what other threats await us. As a bit of a last-minute tease, we discover that the other half of Hephaestus' head unit was taken to Olympus by Muramasa. The two blacksmiths flatter one another, indicating that while the
probably get that
Atlantic
data
part of
back,
Hephaestus
right?
sided with humanity, this other half and Muramasa both still side with Olympus. Freaky flaming pyre of shit. That was laborious. I can only hope the ground I've covered here will make Olympus itself a lot easier to comprehend. I know this is a lot, so please feel free to ask me questions in the comments, or even join my Discord to discuss this stuff with even more fans. Ideally, that should hold us all over until the official release of Olympus. I hope you look forward to it. Before I go ahead and roll the credits, I want to give a special shout out to my $10 supporters.
Oh, so okay, is that it? Okay, yeah, wait, let me see. So yeah, just supporters. Okay, and that's it. Okay, well, yeah, I was like, you know what, I might as well just finish it off, because it seems like he's about to get to the, like, absolute end of this, right? I don't think he's gonna, you know, do some other summary, right? Just how he did with, before he started off with Atlantis, right? So, yeah, that was a lot, yeah, definitely like how he said. So, yeah, shout out to him. Yeah, I'm gonna put his, to the video and the link to his channel in the description, so you guys can check out the other videos as well, because, yeah, he has... Actually, I think he's done, like, basically all the story of Fate. Well, at least Grand Order that I remember, right? The lore of all of that, right? But, yeah, that was pretty much about it. Yeah, but, yeah, I know, yeah, most of the time I was just sitting there watching. But, yeah, like I said, I won't be saying too much because, yeah, I'm really trying to listen to this here. But, yeah, I remember this. Now, the one part I didn't know was, I didn't know someone's arm got taken off, but I thought it was Orion's arm, right? Because when I was reading that person's comment that I told you guys about, because, yeah, they just basically gave me the whole story in that comment, right? But, when I read it, I thought it was, Orion that, you know, his arm, after he, you know, basically put so much power into it that, yeah, basically took it off, right? But no, that was, Hector, right? Yeah, Hector, that did it, right? I didn't know he shot one, because, yeah, I only heard, or not heard, but basically I kept seeing Orion and Paris, right? I knew Paris turned himself into an arrow, right? And I did know Orion. Yeah, he shot the arrow. It did hit, right? It did hit. But when he shot like a second one, it shot the beam. But I didn't know the arrow went through that first beam. Because I did know it was two beams that Artemis shot off. But I didn't know. I thought both the beams like took it out, right? Not that it pierced through one beam and then the second one took it out. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah. And also, yeah, I think there was something here that I wanted to see. Let me see. I thought there was something here. Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. Oh yeah, right here. Okay. So, oh yeah, Drake. Yeah, that was just unfortunate, right? She had the curse and couldn't go anywhere, right? Yeah, I do remember Chiome. Yeah, if I'm correct, yeah, sacrificed herself, right? Yeah, then you got Charlie, Bartholomew, Achilles, Hector. Okay. And then yeah, basically yeah, throughout the whole time, cause yeah, I think either I missed it or I didn't really understand it the last video I made. But basically yeah, I can see who the good guys are and the bad guys are, I guess basically. So Odysseus, was it Canis? Who else? Oh yeah, real quick before I say that, yeah. I don't know how to say his name. I do not know how to really say it, but okay, let me see if I can find him. Let's see. I don't think I wait. Let me see. Okay, wait. Yeah, him right here. Was it Kirstaria? Okay. So I don't know what was going on with that. I think I didn't understand it right, but I thought him and Canis were kind of allied, right? Um, Along with Odysseus, right? Because I could see, yeah, they were the ones that were trying to really, yeah, I guess, yeah, get rid of, Orion and all them, Charlie and all that. But yeah, I thought him and Canis were allied, right? Um, and I'm like, okay, why are the servants attacking, right? But yeah, I guess yeah, he just basically had them attack her, right? But still though, yeah, I just didn't even know. I was like, okay, hold up. But yeah, Kirsaria, Canis, let's see, Odysseus. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anyone else. But basically, yeah, those three, yeah, basically, summoning these beasts and all. So yeah, I could clearly see like, yeah, who's trying to get rid of who's trying to kill who. And basically just yeah, doing all this, right? Oh yeah, we don't see Musashi a lot either. But yeah, I think it was just me that just didn't understand it, right? So yeah, like I said, yeah, just look back at this video, right? And then also, yeah, the comment that guy made me, right? Cause yeah, that's probably an easier way to do it as well, right? Instead of having to, scroll through the video. But yeah, overall, yeah, I understand most of the story. It was a lot, right? And then yeah, I did have to take one day to basically skip through and then have to come back, right, to remember everything. But yeah, I mean, I kind of, yeah, I remember everything. Yeah, I kind of understand, basically the whole story, right? But yeah, I think it was something I missed. Yeah, I didn't understand here, right, when they first showed off Kirstaria and Canis, right? Because yeah, I already know about the thing with Poseidon, right? Basically, yeah, making fun of her. I think it was a body, right? Yeah, her female body, and then yeah, I think she yeah wanted to turn into a man for that, right? Um, so yeah, I do remember that, yeah. And then yeah, you got the servant right there. Um, Actually, no, Canis was one of the servants. Yeah, Canis was one of Kirstaria's servants. So yeah, I guess something happened, and yeah, he just made these two, basically try and get rid of her, right? And then yeah, you have the third one right here. Yeah, I remember who that is. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much about it. Um. So yeah, Jason. Yeah, I was just really right now I'm just scrolling through, see if I missed something. Yeah, cause that definitely was a lot. Um. Oh yeah, and then you had that one guy too right here. Yeah, I don't know what's up with him. Yeah, I really don't. Yeah, know too much about him. Um. But yeah, honestly, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, happy that I got to see that last part right there, because yeah, that's more clarification for me, because I'm like, yeah, I thought Orion shot all the arrows, all the shots, and then his arm got taken off, and then yeah, eventually died off or whatever, vanished, excuse me, from yeah, what he said. But nah, Hector, joined in as well and helped out. But yeah, that's about the whole yeah, story of Atlantis right here. So yeah, Nemo, yeah, there's a bunch of those. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be looking at another one unless another story interests me, right? Like, yeah, this one right here, I was just kind of interested because yeah, I did remember Orion. Like, I didn't know his name or anything. I just remembered him from the AMVs. And then yeah, Odysseus, I saw him a lot, right? Yeah, just up on the ship, and I think actually, yeah, this. Oh wait, let's skip it. Yeah, like this part right here is literally from the AMV, I think. Yeah, right here. Yeah, when it's raining on this ship, and then yeah, they summon the beast back, right? Because I think Charlotte did kill the first one. Um, and then yeah, okay. See, I think this is the part, but it's, except yeah, his mask is still on, and then afterwards, yeah, it came off. But yeah, this I think is the part. Yeah, that's just what I've been seeing the most of him. With his full armor on, and then just him on the boat or ship, right? That's what I kept on seeing the most. And then yeah, I do remember yeah seeing Orion. I think that was him, Orion, and then what was his name again? Uh, man, Jacardo. Yeah, I think. Yeah, him and Orion. Yeah, I do remember those two going against the beast. Right? It's a lot of names like I keep saying. Like yeah, I was it Cerebus? I think yeah, Cerebus. Is the name of this beast right here, the three-headed beast I'm talking about. Um, but basically, yeah, I remember seeing that, but yeah, honestly, yeah, I don't got much else to say. So yeah, I finished it off. Yeah, I said 3 parts, but yeah, the way how I was looking at it, yeah, it just seemed like I should have just finished it off, and just ended it, right? But yeah, Taco, yeah, Daikun, yeah, gotta give it up to him because yeah, he really sat. Well, actually, I don't even know if he sat through a whole hour. He probably cut part of it, right? Probably was talking right, and then probably cut it off, and then continued it on or something. But or yeah, actually no, I think he really did talk for a whole hour and 10 minutes. But yeah, just got to give it up to him. Yeah, just doing this whole thing right here. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna just end it off right here. Yeah, I don't want to make this too long, right? 'Cause I already know this is about to be like a whole hour. That I'm gonna have to do, but yeah, that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna just end it off right here. So yeah, that was the lore of Fate Grand Order Atlantis. And then yeah, me finally seeing yeah, what was it, the Argonites, Neo Argonites, whatever, right? And everyone's story about that, right? But yeah, that's pretty much about it. So if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe again. And I'll see you guys in the next one.